So I threw the 12-pound vest on and repped out 100 reps as 10 sets of 10, taking minimal break, letting my muscles and my elbow joint go through the range of motion.
I developed habits lately I've been trying to break, and them battles in my mind, they still keep me up late. So I see you sleeping on me when you should have been awake. Hope you die in your sleep, I'll start a fire at your wake. I'ma see this through and now, don't care how long it takes. Now everything changed when I decided that
What's going on, YouTube? You're back with the Prez. We're in Juniper Park today. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the best way that you guys should be training if you're dealing with an injury. Meaning how you should go about working around your injury so you can still continue on with progressively overloading and continuously hit your goals, whether you're in the gym or in the park focusing on calisthenics. Now, people get injuries for many different reasons. Some can come for overuse injuries, meaning you're doing the same movement pattern repetitively over and over without doing some type of compensated work where you're working the opposite muscle groups, right? Another way that people get injured in the gym or outside of the gym when exercising is going too hard, right? They try to ego lift. They're lifting too much weight. Or another way people get injured very commonly is they try to do too much without resting. Listen, you got to learn to let your body recover sufficiently before you try to get into more complex type of exercises. When an injury happens, the first thing people usually do or tend to do is take a step back from that particular exercise. And that's an excellent thing you should do, right? You should take a break from doing the movement that's causing you pain to allow your body to heal. But does that mean you should stop training altogether? Absolutely not. So for instance, let's say somebody that's dealing with an elbow injury like myself. What bothers me when I'm training? Pronated grip pull-ups, pronated grip pushing work, such as military barbell presses, regular grip pull-ups, right? Cause a lot of pain in the elbows. Does that mean I still don't train my shoulders? Does that mean I still don't train my back on a pull day? Absolutely not. You have to learn how to work around injuries in the most smart and effective way where you can still progressively overload week by week. So the first thing that people should work on when dealing with an injury, the first tip I have is definitely to try to avoid the actual movement that causes pain for a certain amount of time. I'm not saying you should avoid it completely because listen, if you could once do something and you no longer could do it at all, that's a regression, right? That means you're doing something wrong. You want to be able to do the movement that once caused you pain. You want to be able to do the movements that you were always able to do, but it's going to take a little bit of regression work for you to get back to that level. So the first tip I have, of course, is to avoid the movement altogether for a certain amount of time. Now, like I said, pronated grip pull-ups bother my elbow. Does that mean I don't do pull-ups? No, I switch to a grip that doesn't bother my elbow. Neutral grip work, supinated grip work. Those are the two movements that probably caused me to have elbow injuries in the beginning because I never did them, right? I probably have an overuse injury from doing too many pronated grip pull-ups over the years and not compensating enough with more supinated grip pulling and neutral grip pulling to fully strengthen the whole elbow joint, right? Very common, happens to everybody, right? Now, like I said, does that mean I'm avoiding all pulling movements? No, I can still do my neutral grip pull-ups loaded with weight. Now, the second tip I have for people that are dealing with injury, again, this goes back to point one. I said you should avoid the movement for a certain amount of time. That doesn't mean you should avoid it forever. Now, there's a way to get back to doing the movement that you once were doing, and like I said, it's going to take a little bit of regression. So let's give an example. Somebody in the gym used to be able to bench 225 pounds for one rep. They were hitting they tried to do 235 pounds, and they dropped the bar on themselves and they tore a pec muscle, right? Now they can't bench anything anymore. Well, they can't bench anything substantial. Does that mean they should never bench press again? No, that means they're gonna have to start as a regression exercise. So they're gonna have to start benching lighter. They may have to start benching with just the bar, 45 pounds. They have to find an intensity where they can go through the range of motion pain-free and slowly build back up the strength, whether it's in the muscle or the joint or whatever area that's causing you pain. So the second tip I have is to find the exercise that's causing you pain and find a regression of the exercise, meaning an easier variation, whether that be using less weights if you're doing barbell or dumbbell type exercises, or whether that means regressing your body weight and using bands for assisting you, right? For instance, if you're doing body weight pull-ups, if those are bothering you, you guys can throw a band on to help your body decrease the intensity, meaning lighten your body weight to make the pull-ups more pain-free, right? So for instance, like I said, you guys are going to be seeing throughout this video examples of how I train while I'm dealing with an injury. So you're gonna see I've been hitting I'm still hitting weighted pull-ups. I'm just working weighted pull-ups with a neutral grip now. So like I said, I did avoid the pull-up for a certain amount of time. It's been almost 6 weeks since I really practiced repping out pull-ups at all. I tried to avoid the movement and solely focused on neutral grip work. As the elbow started to heal more and more, I felt comfortable enough to go back to pronated grip work, but at a lesser intensity, focusing on band-assisted repetitions where my body weight is decreased and I could flow through the movement with ease. Now let me explain why that's very important, to find an intensity where you could flow through the movement pain-free, whether it be with barbells and less weight, or body weight where you're just repping out with less intensity. Remember guys, blood flow to a muscle or blood flow to a joint brings oxygen that promotes healing. It's going to require you to hit higher repetitions under less intensity. For instance, what you saw me doing for these pull-ups, I hit 10 sets of 10 body weight reps with the band on, assisting me. Yes, I had the vest on because the band alone was too much assistance, right? It was making it too easy. So I threw the 12-pound vest on and repped out 100 reps as 10 sets of 10, taking minimal break, letting my muscles and my elbow joint go through the range of motion in a decreased intensity, pain-free, really promoting a lot of blood flow, again, and oxygen to that area, which is gonna promote healing. And now the third tip I have for you guys when it comes to dealing with an injury, to avoid exaggerating it and to get you back to where you once were, would be again to focus on isometric holds as well in the spot where you feel some pain. Now, again guys, I've talked about this many times. Isometric holds are excellent for breaking through plateaus. They're excellent for breaking through weak areas. Remember guys, the purpose of an isometric hold is to hold tension in a point where you're either weak or in pain. That's gonna force, again, blood flow to the area. I'm not saying to do isometrics with load on. Again, I would recommend if you're doing bodyweight repetitions and if bodyweight reps are still hard for you, throw a band on, and instead of doing bodyweight reps now, do isometric holds, still decreasing the intensity of your body by using a band, but holding where you feel the most discomfort in the movement. How would you utilize this if you're in the gym? Again, instead of dropping the weight for an overhead press or a bench press, you're still gonna drop the weight, but instead of repping it out now, let's say you have pain when you're going down on the bench press. As soon as you feel that pain, that's where you wanna stop the movement and hold isometrically. Again, obviously you wanna be using less load than you would be using on a typical day, which would cause you pain. So those are 3 tips and 3 ways for you guys to utilize your training. And just remember guys, it's always best to train smart and hard. You always wanna train hard, but you also gotta train smart to avoid injuries. And especially if you're injured, you gotta learn how to train around the injury without setting your body up for regressing too much, right? Obviously you're gonna have to take a step back from a certain movement, but you still wanna be able to progress in other areas of your training and not have a full damper on your overall training workouts, right? So utilize these 3 tips. So there's no need for you guys to completely stop your training. There's no need for you guys to always avoid a movement. You should always try to work back to a movement that you once were able to do, right? You should always try to build back up that strength and get back to the level you were at before. And when you do this, listen, injuries are common. Listen, they happen to everybody. But if you could recover from it and you could recover from it smart, oftentimes you come back stronger than you were beforehand, right? Because typically something led you to getting that injury, and once you learn to heal it, you get that training smarter aspect and you're able to bust through the plateau that you once had prior, injury-free. So try these tips out, guys. Still train hard, train smart. And like always, if you have a comment, leave it in the comments section. I get back to you guys. Like the video. They help the algorithms out. Share it with your friends, your family. Like always, peace out. BARNATURALS.
They all love to talk, you know they do that shit the most. Think you on my level, boy, but you ain't even close.